Hello, folks. Hail and good evening. Streaming worldwide, nationwide, because we're on your side. Patrick Walsh will be joining us here momentarily, but I figured I'd get this live stream going. So if you're tuning in now and watching, please be sure to comment and say hello down below. Let's bring in Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Oh, there you are.
Hello, Jesse.
Hey there, my man. What's going on?
You.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on here today.
An honor and a pleasure as always.
Yeah, looking good, looking cozy, looking comfy.
I'm getting there.
Getting there? Yeah. Yeah. So what you been up to?
Man, what a special day it's been, and I'm sharing with you. Sorry, OCD's fucking with me right now. I'm trying to find the perfect camera angle. It's being a pain in the ass.
Oh, you're good.
All
I get it. I totally get it. You're fine.
I'll sacrifice this. And there we go. That's good. All right. So that said, it's been a most special and fortuitous day, as I've shared with you and a few other people as well.
Yeah.
The experience with the deer, I'll tell you what, it's a very gratifying and special time, because, as I mentioned in a post, I've been visiting this place for over 10 years. But it wasn't until my re-entry into Norse paganism that I really developed an understanding and appreciation for the love of the land Vetnir, and as well as the spirits of my ancestors and what they encountered during the early days before modern civilization, and approaching them with the reverence and the sacredness that they originally earned before modern technology, and we lose sight of those kind of things often in the world that we live in nowadays.
I hear you. What's up, Sid? Sid Riders comments and says, "What's up, fellas?" Well, what's up with you, Sid? Yeah.
Going.
We're streaming live here on Facebook, on Midgard Musings YouTube. We're also streaming live here in the Heilung spiritual community, spiritual support community, right?
Yep, that's right.
So you guys, if you're watching, but definitely be sure wherever you're watching, if it says YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, the name of the group is right here on your screen. It's the Heilung Mental / Spiritual Support Group.
I gotta find a better title.
Definitely give this join the group. There's going to be some membership questions that you need to answer. Please be sure to respect the questions that the admins ask you when you join. But if you're not already in the group, please do so, because Patrick here admins this group and has a bunch of co-admins and moderators, and it's of course a Heilung focused group, but there's all kinds of fun stuff that happens here. So you're definitely welcome to come in and join us. We got Marwin. Guess who has this casting on their big screen? Yo, that's cool, man. That's pretty cool. We're on the big screen. I think back in the day, you used to have to go through like networks and studios and stuff to be on TV. Now you can go, right. Mom, I'm on TV, Mom. Yeah, so thank you, Marwin. Yeah, and good evening to Fact Fiend 1000 on YouTube. Good evening. Thanks for watching the live stream. We got Patrick Walsh here, who is also a Norse pagan, right?
That's correct.
And been a friend of mine for years now. Boy, I can't. What is this? When did we, like, was it 2017, 2018?
No, so officially it was very late 2019 in October.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you got that part. You got me beat on that part, because I'm terrible with keeping track of dates. But it's been several years now.
Well, it was a very important time too. It was shortly before I saw Heilung in person in January 2020, and just that time in general was just a very overall incredible experience, as I mentioned several times throughout my podcast or posts and all whatnot. But yeah, it's easy to remember those kind of things.
Well, man, the time's flown by. Good evening, Dragon Dancer, dancing with the dragons. what's that? Slayer. Dance with the dead in your dreams. Well, they're over here dancing with dragons. So, um, welcome to the live stream.
Happy to have you guys here. Seriously, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us.
Absolutely. I didn't even plan this in advance. Like normally, if I'm gonna do this type of stuff, I'm like, I'll give you guys some, days in advance to make arrangements to come and hang out. But I had an opening tonight. It just kind of happened that way, and I'm like, oh well, let's go live. And then I thought, well, let me see what Patrick's doing, and if he's not busy,
Yep.
come on and hang out with us. So we're here just chilling, and we've got somebody else that wants to join the stream. So let's bring in this hombre.
Papa? Oh,
Maybe. We got a screen that popped up.
Oh.
Might be a little glitchy. Might be a little choppy. We'll see.
Just
hey, Papa, can you hear us?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's just how it goes sometimes, guys.
Exactly right.
Gals. Sometimes Papa. There he is. Are you with us, Papa? Can you hear us?
Sound, audio.
Check,
visual.
check, Mike. Nope. Okay. We'll try it again.
Yeah, he'll
try it again. Yeah. That's just how it goes here, folks. Sometimes we get that that technical fun times. But Patrick, you were talking earlier about a very meaningful experience you had today. You're sharing it a bit on your social media. Would you care to share more about that today?
Absolutely, yeah.
With everybody here just tuning in.
So, I've always been on the lookout for special signs, omens, or just messages from whether it be my inner self, the gods, whatever term that people like to use during this kind of experience. But for me, it's just, the sacred spirit of the land. And like I said, I've been visiting this place for over 10 years, and it wasn't until my re-entry that I really grown an appreciation for the sacred and for the environment, and also being mindful of that. And that's something that Papa Olson introduced me, as well as you, Jesse, is the Sacred Trail Society. And being more mindful and aware of our surroundings, our sacred places that we visit. It doesn't have to necessarily be our backyard. It could be a place we like to visit, whether it be, like for me, I go to a few other places. I go to the Katy Trail. I go to the Rockwoods Reservations. A bunch of places that I visit frequently, because I get kind of bored with just walking back into my life. It's like probably a 5-minute walk from here. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. I've encountered deer very frequently over the past couple of years, and it's gotten to the point now where I can't overlook that fact, where I've come to embrace it and respect it and appreciate it for what it's worth, and just anytime I see these deer, I'm like, wow, these deer, from my experience, are typically very skittish. Very like, you talk too loud or you get too close, they scare away very easily. But over time, and I'm not trying to be egocentric by any means, but spending the time that I do with them, I feel like they've come to know me or be familiar with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm trying to embrace and make, if not a daily practice, at least a periodic and weekly practice. It's something that you touched bases on your podcast that was released yesterday. And I'll tell you what, that podcast has been nothing short of just a natural blessing and message that needed to be not only heard and listened to, but also applied. Because I mentioned to you previously, though, is like when I heard this podcast, it was intimidating in some respects.
Really?
Because myself, personally, I've kind of become not as arduous, not as consistent as I'd like to be with my daily practice. And I could throw out a bunch of excuses, but it won't do any good. But what's important, though, is that I'm taking this not as an insult, not as a challenge in a bad way, but an opportunity. It's like, you know what? I could be doing something a little bit better right now. So let me seize the opportunity. Let me make today a special day. Let me make, my intentions and my devotion loud and clear, not only to myself, my ancestors, but to my gods, my house whites, my land whites. Just establishing and building on that relationship.
Well, I think that, when it comes to information that we receive from wherever we get it, that there can be at times this element, like you say, of intimidation, because we feel maybe called out in a way, like, oh damn, maybe I'm falling short, like you said. But like you say, that can be a good thing, like challenges, ordeal,
And
trials, like that sort of thing, like that is such a big part of what conditions us and what prepares us to deal with life, right? And like I've said so many times before, life is full of suffering. I mean, not to be like nihilistic or whatever, but like life is suffering, life is pain, whatever. And but we can choose to actively suffer. Like we can take on those things that put us in situations that really push us to our limits and beyond. And then when that happens, when we do that, we are better prepared to handle life's curveballs and life's challenges because we're actively putting ourselves in that flow of, trial by fire, So when things pop up, or whether it's a podcast or whether it's a message or whether it's something that just randomly comes across in our lives, we have that chance, we have that opportunity to take on the task in front of us. We can choose to ignore it, or we can choose to do something about it,
it
and
can
I,
be
I love hearing that people, see or hear what I say, or anybody says for that matter. I get the same thing from people, it's just part of life.
just like
I'm,
any struggle or any hardships we endure. We have two choices ultimately. We can let it make us or break us. And I'm not saying every time we have to make it, because
yeah.
sometimes we need to be broken down and be humbled.
Yep.
To really be like, wow, you know what? Things are going really good, but I need to be grounded.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be reminded of my roots. Like earlier, I was sharing with you one of your earlier videos how to perform a basic heathen ritual. The first video that I discovered you. And I feel like sometimes you need a reminder of that, Jesse. You need to be like, you might be hard on yourself periodically. I don't hear that often, but I feel like that might be the case sometimes. Maybe not frequently, but like,
Oh, I'm my own worst critic. You kidding me? I beat myself up every day over stuff. You kidding me?
Right. Sorry, yeah.
I never let a day go by where I don't give myself a good ass kicking.
But I like to be as well as all your other friends. We like to be messages and harbingers of that message that you have come a long way, Jesse. I mean, as far as
appreciate that.
Specifically too, so as far as like audios, visuals, and just the overall compilation of your content too has come a long way. Because like the first video that I shared with you, the audio was a little bit much at the time, but at the time,
yeah,
I didn't give a shit. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. But
yeah, I like that. Taking the chance to improve and finding ways that you can improve. And I like what Dragon Dancer here says. Going back to that, doing things badly is better than not doing anything at all. And I said something similar to that. Is that if you fail, it's not bad that you fail, because if you fail, then it means that you at least tried. And it's better to have fought and lost than to have never fought at all. It's better to have tried and failed than to have not done anything.
Couldn't have said better myself.
Action is better than inaction. That's a recurring theme. That is a part of heathenry that is vibrant, I think, in a lot of people's paths and in their worldview, is that action is better than inaction. Inaction can be considered sin in a heathen context, in a heathen worldview, because if you don't do something, then nothing's getting done. It's better to try and fail than to have not tried at all.
I couldn't agree more. Especially, especially my group being center point and focal point being, mental health, it's very important to pull ourselves out of that rut. Like I mentioned previously, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be struggling and really appreciate your hardships, but don't let it define you. Don't let your hardships, don't let your struggles be the deciding factor. And I always say that confidently and passionately because I'm there every darn day. If not every hour sometimes. Some days
Sure.
I'm like, man, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to do something. But I push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm like, you know what, man, I needed that. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's like a lot of other important moments that we encounter too. Is like I'm about to be getting off the beaten trail here, but more often than not, the amazing moments that I encounter, like today. Today started off as a simple, innocent quest to engage with my friends, the deer. And I mentioned in my post, I know they're not my friends. They're animals. They have their own mindset. They have their own habits. But I like to think that we're developing an appreciation and understanding of each other. But anyways,
Hmm.
besides that though, it's just really important to seize the opportunities that are brought to us naturally and not something that is forced, because I found often that when we try to force a special moment in our lives, it just doesn't work out. You
Mm.
just gotta life play out the way it should. If you're having a bad day, all right, it's a bad day, but you know what, tomorrow's going to be a different one. You might be going through a messed up time. Hey, it's messed up,
Yeah.
but it's not going to last forever. It can't.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, just getting caught up on some of the comments
Yeah,
here.
thanks for catching up on the comments too, because I can
True
barely see
statement,
it.
says some Facebook user. Not sure who you are, but sometimes my practice is just simply crafting. For whatever reason, I have a connection to the spiritual when I'm crafting or painting. That's because you're creating. You know what I mean? You're starting with a blank canvas. You have this vision, this image, this idea in your mind, in your heart, that you want to manifest physically in art, and that is divine. That is inspiration. There's a term for that in heathenry. I think it's older. There's that divine breath, that divine inspiration. It's what comes to us from the divine. And that can be manifested through any sort of physical activity. Whether you're crafting, wood burning, carving, painting, drawing. You know, uh, John mentioned earlier, the hardest part is not being able to do, uh, ritual every day. Is the ritual that you're trying to perform, are you feeling inclined or I won't say guilty, but like, are you feeling bad about not being able to do it every day because of this preset obligation that you've set for yourself? Like, there's an expectation that you've set for yourself to do it every day. Kind of like why I touched on it in my podcast, that set a realistic expectation. You don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
I really love that
If
quote
if
too.
you if you say I'm going to do something once a week, then and you do it twice a week, well, you've overpromised and overdelivered, right? Or you've it's better to underpromise and overdeliver, I guess, is the best way I could say it, right? If you're
No,
going to
that makes
say to do
sense.
something, then hey, you give it a once a week kind of cadence, and then who knows, you set a higher bar at that point to do it multiple times that week. Life is struggle, and the ancients understood this more than we do. You know, uh, they had a different struggle. You know, I've been hearing different things, and I'd be curious to hear what people's thoughts are about this. Is that we have it? Some people will say that we have it easier now than our ancestors did.
Right.
Other people will say that it's harder now because of all of the extracurricular BS. It's not as simple as it once was, right? And so that therefore it makes it more complicated and more challenging than it was back then. I think everything needs to be considered in context, you know. Whereas we can go to the store and buy our food, our ancient ancestors had to fight for their food. They had to hunt, they had to cultivate, they had to harvest, they had to do all the things organically and naturally to eat and to survive, to heat their homes, to keep their living conditions comfortable, you know. Um, but again, so much of what happens now in modern times is, yeah, we have some amenities and modern conveniences that make that aspect of things maybe easier. But is in context, right, and in relative terms, are we not still facing challenges and things that make life difficult and make it hard? Sure, we do. There's a whole lot of shit going on in the world that we are facing that our ancestors didn't face. You know, we are seeing things going on in the world. We are subject to information. We are fed information that can really mess people up. And that's a challenge. That's a real thing, you know?
And also a very important observation too, Jesse, because you hit on a lot of very important points there. Because like we like to think that back in the early days it was so much more simpler. Yes, while that may be true, and that's kind of the complications that we face nowadays because we have so many options, so many things that we can do.
Mm.
And a lot of those options don't offer the best of intentions or, you know, the well-meaning of your intentions and your survival. Some just put there just to earn a buck or two, you know, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's important to decipher between those two and to filter out what's meaningful and what's just spam or irrelevant, you know. With some people it's easier than others, but it's something to be mindful of and, you know, appreciative when you follow and support people who really come bearing their heart and soul, like Jesse, and I like to say myself too. You know, you're among people who have your best interest at heart, and that's what's very important to adhere and stick by.
Yeah, there's a lot of, again, you know, all of the stuff that we're subject to, all of the things that we're given to absorb. Um, there's the minutia, you know, you got to sift through all of this crap. And I think some people can get into this mindset that everything that is a problem has to be their problem. And it doesn't. That is a choice. And to the capacity of certain individuals' ability to register that, you know, is different. You know, everybody's different and everybody's unique and beautiful in their own way. But like my ability to see, you know, the world on fire and be going, well, my backyard's fine. I'm okay. My people are okay, right? Not a lot of not everybody can equally differentiate the situation and keep it separate from what's within versus what's without. You know, what's going on out there is what's going on out there. I can't control that, and it's a waste of my time and energy to try and figure out how to do so. That's my thing, right? Like, what do I have that I have control over? What has been given to me to take care of? What has been given to me to safeguard, protect, ensure that it's being nurtured and all that? That is where my focus and energy is given. You know, the hell with everything else. You know
And
what I mean? Like that. So.
And that's something I want to touch base on. You kind of inspired me to mention this too. Is when you're making your spiritual journey and you're looking for progress, while it's great to have inspirations and people in your life that, you know, you are very inspired by. For example, when I see Jesse's content or Papa's or clips, sometimes it's just, you know, I very easily intimidated in that regard because, like, man, what the hell am I doing right now? Nothing. I'm just being an asshole. I'm just surviving day by day. But everyone,
Well, we all are.
And everyone develops and grows at their own pace, and that's something that's very, very important to note. And I'm glad that my spiritual group is part of this stream here, as well as anyone else too. It's, you know, it's unfair to compare. As cliche as it sounds, your own personal developments are exactly that. Your own personal developments. Now, while some people you strive to be like, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't get carried away. Like, I'm gonna start doing exactly everything Jesse does. No, I'll make my own adaptations, my inspirations from it, and I'll apply it rightly, and give, you know, due credit when it's due. But am I gonna call my own? No. And that's another thing too that Jesse mentioned in his podcast yesterday. Is when you find inspiration and hope, it's very important to give homage and praise to where you got inspired from, whether it be a friend you visit or a YouTuber that you follow. Papa, I think he might be joining us here.
Maybe.
We see him. Thank you for joining us, Papa, in case you hear us. I'm not sure. Oh.
Maybe. I see like the image and it's like still and frozen, so maybe
he's moving.
Yeah, I feel like there's some activity going on there, but it's still a bit frozen. Papa
Hey, we're
Olafson.
still here though. We're not going anywhere. So yeah.
No, we're not.
I think I might not have enough signal where I am.
Yeah, sounds a bit choppy, brother.
But
Yeah, I tried.
Hey, it's all good. If
we
something
appreciate you
changes
just
and
trying.
yeah, if
Tom's
something
bonus is
changes
fucking
and you want to
badass.
come back on, we'll be here for a while, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, do your thing.
I'll do that.
Okay.
All good. I'm gonna walk around, Jesse. I hope you don't mind me. I'm doing my own thing and trying not to stay in one position too long because ADHD is a son bitch. But
Oh yeah, man. You never know what you might see. You never know
exactly.
what you might miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, inspiration. It's all around us, and there's the there's a trap, and I'll use that term. There's the trap to fall into of seeing someone or something as being this like ideal representation of what you think life should be, right? Or what you should be, or what we should be.
Or the
And
perfect
so
pagan or heathen for that matter too.
the what?
You know.
Yeah, like there's this like, oh, so and so's doing this a certain way, or they look a certain way, or they're doing a certain thing, and that is the ideal representation of who I feel like I should be. And so you build your like that's the framework that you're building off of. And I like the term framework because that's what it should be, right? It's the framework. Build your own house. Take the material, take the framework, and go build your own structure out of it. Build something of your own. Make it unique. I don't want your house to be the same as mine, because why would I want to go to your house? Why would I want to why would I want to experience your thing if all it is just a carbon copy of mine? I live here. I do my thing. That is how I do it. I want to experience it how you experience it, Dragon Dancer's experiencing the same struggle with you, Patrick. The ADHD struggle is real. Ooh, what is this over here? Ah, what's that over there? Did I fold the laundry? Did I turn the stove off? Did I, I get it.
Exactly. Or
so it's all relevant.
I got a song that's stuck in my head. I want to listen to it. Or man, I'm feeling really inspired right now. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that's something I admire about other people who don't suffer with the same condition. Like I see Jesse sitting there like a statue. I'm like, damn, son of a bitch, where do I get this ability? But that's
look,
cool,
dude,
though.
I've been sitting on my ass at a desk job for 7-8 years. I've got plenty of practice of sitting stationary and doing things at a stationary sort of job. So I guess that may not be the best skill to have, but if you want to call it a skill, then it's then I have it.
The skill's what you make of it, though. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Dances. Oh, I do have laundry in the dryer. Thanks for the reminder.
Right. I tell you what, though. All the while though with ADHD, it's important to take that into consideration with your development as well. Anyone who suffers like I do, it's like I'll go back to my previous statement. It's unfair to compare. What I find very important and gratifying in my experience, and here's the funny thing though, I don't find this gratification as often as I should by myself. More often than not, it's times when I'm struggling, and I have special friends. I'll be like, Jesse, man, you're doing such great work, but I feel like I'm just being absent-minded, or I don't feel the connections with the gods. I'm not doing this or that. But then you make observations like, well, Patrick, I mean, look at you in the High Long Spiritual Group, or look at you encountering the deer. Look at you hanging out with High Long last year. So
yeah,
that's what
hell, you've done things that I've never done.
Exactly. And that's another thing that we got to give ourselves credit for, but also it comes more meaningful when it comes from outside of ourselves, because we get wrapped up in our own inner monologue and dialogue like, man, I suck, or blah, 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 blah. That's not true, because guess what? You don't suck. We all have our own struggles. We all have our own trees to hang from and wisdom to gather and envelop in our daily practice. It's important to us, and it's up to us to make it daily, consistent, and yeah, that was basically what I was trying to say there.
Hail to you, brother Josh Thompson, our the Gothi of Flurry Folk. Our Gothi is in the chat too. So hail to you, brother. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I think that term, suffer is again, it goes back to what we're experiencing, what we're going through, those ordeals, and choosing to suffer proactively, right? Going through those things so that way we can be better equipped to handle the challenges that life throws us. Is it suffering? Sure, you could put that term to it. You could define it as suffering with a condition, suffering with this or that, right? I like to put a twist on it too and say, it's conditioning, it's ordeal. It's refining and defining. You don't get a sharp sword, you don't get a battle worthy weapon without putting it through fire, without beating it, without quenching it, without doing all of these things that condition it to withstand the battles that it's going to endure.
It's a real world progress in what we pursue to do. For example, for me, and some ventures that I'm looking forward to facing.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Kara Lee is hello from Long Island, New York. Kara, I'm from Long Island originally. Live in Tennessee, but I'm originally a Long Islander. I was born and raised in Riverhead, New York. So thanks for commenting, and good to see a fellow Long Islander out there. So anyway, go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, to remind me what I was talking about now. Sorry.
The conditioning, the suffering, No.
What was I saying? Darn it. Sorry. Short-term memories. Pain in the
That's
butt.
my fault. I'll take ownership of that. I saw Long Island. I'm like,
No. Sorry, I'm very susceptible to being easily distracted, so that kind of threw me through.
All good.
But
we'll read some of the comments here because we got a bunch coming through while you think about it. So John says, just go to Wyatt Earp on a target when I feel stuck or overly anxious. 40+ rounds, man. Go in Wyatt Earp. Just put some rounds down range, on a 44 mag. Absolutely. Fact Fiend 1000 has a random question. Has anyone else heard Blue Rune by Edred Thorson? So that's Stephen Flowers. Edred Thorson is his pen name. I've not heard of that specifically.
Nor have I.
Struggles. I like this. Struggles forge the soul into something beautiful.
Yes, struggle breeds greatness. I'm a firm believer of that too.
Ordeal breeds worth. Absolutely, yes.
But also, though, is bearing in mind to carry that spirit and not let it diminish. It becomes something that conquers you and develops you day to day. And I'm not trying to throw a pity party by any means, but with my situation being born the way I am, it's very intimidating a lot of days. And that's kind of like, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I watch what I watch. I play what I play. I listen to what I listen to because it brings me comfort and stability. Mm-hmm. But every now and again, I need someone or something to be like, hey, by the way, you have potential, so let it blossom into something more spectacular.
Dude, I just gotta say, when you call attention to your condition, like that's not even the first thing that's not the first thing that I see. Is it hard to ignore? Yeah, it's hard to not notice.
Sure, right.
Your condition, but at no point in time did I ever think like this guy or whoever, like he's less capable of doing anything. If anything, like you could do some pretty neat stuff because of your, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, look at this guy. He's lived his whole, however many years of your life.
37, yeah.
37 years of your life. Yeah. With this condition, with this, with what you've got, and you've totally kicked ass at it.
I appreciate that.
That's amazing. I think that's incredible.
See, this is a pure example of what I was mentioning earlier, though. It's getting gratification and acknowledgement from people, and something you don't seek out on your own accord, because that makes it meaningful.
Mm.
Now, if you're sitting there trying to get gratification, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of it. You know, appreciate and undergo your struggles, but don't try seeking immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Seek that struggle to its end and meet it to the end and make the best of it, you know?
And yeah, absolutely. So the Blue Rune by Edward Thorson contains the essays, The Alchemy of Yggdrasil and The Gothic God of Darkness, which are two excellent pieces. We'll look into that. Thank you for the context.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And John says, hit you up, Patrick. Hit him up, Patrick. He says he's usually always available. So, John, I don't know if you are in the Heilung spiritual support group, but it is called Heilung Mental/Spiritual Support Group, and it's on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, then definitely join. This is probably the easiest way to interact with Patrick. But Patrick, if you've got any other ways to interact with people, then
yeah, it's just honestly, if you want to send me a direct message, I'll address it accordingly. But I appreciate the praise and the attention. One of my biggest things.
Oh, cool. He's in the group. Cool. He's there.
Oh, cool. Righteous. Well, right then. But that's it, though. Anyone who wants to join my group, I deeply appreciate it. Just mentioned earlier, just answer the security questions. You don't have to be affiliated with any other group. Just let me know that you're not a bot or a spammer or a scammer. That's important because, having a mental health centered group, it's very important to sort out, people who are invested and people who aren't. And that's an arduous process, which Jesse, I'm sure you're very familiar with as well as Sid and Papa too. But yeah, with my group though, just come bearing your intentions and a desire to do good by yourself, your tribe, and your family, as well as appreciating Heilung. For me, as I mentioned more times than I want to count, Jesse, Heilung for me has been something that will always be part of my life. Whether I'm a follower or not, which I imagine I will be a follower to my last breath. But that said, nothing's ever permanent. Nothing's forever. Yeah.
There was a thing that I was thinking of that, with regards to physical, mental, or any other types of, and I don't use this term negatively or in any sort of derogatory way, but handicaps, right? Things that may be considered as a restriction, or what some people.
It is what it is.
Some
a
people
handicap
might,
or not, it's a term.
Yeah,
that's all.
But there was something that I was thinking of, and I can't remember which stanza it is in the Havamal, but it goes something along the lines of like, the lame man rides a horse, the handless man can drive a herd, the deaf man fights and succeeds. To be blind is better to be burnt, and a corpse is of no use to anyone. Look, you're alive. You've got capabilities, and just because you don't have the same exact capabilities of everyone, just because you don't have 10 hands, 10 fingers. If you have 10 hands and you're some sort of like Lovecraftian thing, and I don't, whatever, that's your thing, then cool, right? But just because you don't necessarily have all of those identifying things that the next person does, doesn't make you useless, right? The corpse is of use to no one. Everybody has a purpose. Everyone can fulfill a role. And that's what it's about. Embrace yourself and embrace every part of yourself. Like Patrick's always saying, you're not defined by the struggles, by the turmoils. Dragon Dancer says Heilung is amazing. Absolutely.
Like, do I let being born differently encumber me? Sometimes I do. I'm not gonna lie. There are days I'm like, I let it fulfill me, or not fulfill me, but describe me. I'm sorry, I'm trying to plug in my phone here because it was like at a low battery at some point and it stopped charging. So I'm just trying to get to that here. Please.
But yeah, it's easy to, right? I mean, like, look, we all get there. We all hit those moments in our life where we're the things that we're most close to tend to bring the most attention to ourselves. You know what I mean? And so it's easy to allow that to kind of be that defining moment for us. John says he's got Wardruna Runehold trilogy box set on vinyl. Nice. I don't have a vinyl
Nice.
player. I've got a vinyl record. I've got a I've got a record that somebody gave to me, I think. And I'm like, cool, this is great. It's beautiful. I just don't have the means to play it. But I listen to vinyl, and playing vinyl there's the nostalgia of it. So with stuff like Wardruna or Heilung, or I guess any other like neo-folk type music, like playing it on vinyl would just really be awesome, I think. Like just having that experience. It's got to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Because we're all stuck in this digital age, streaming.
And that's kind
how,
of the advantage we have. That's an advantage we have right now that our ancestors did not. Is reaching the people that we do from far abroad. Like we reach people that we will never probably meet in person, but here we are establishing a connection to a meaningful level. So while we may discredit ourselves living the day and age that we do, it's important to appreciate the time that we live too. As far as technical advances and everything else, we're not that fucked up. I mean, granted, we go back earlier in times, they used to make unnecessary sacrifices of people. That's neither here nor there now. Here we are, modern pagans, modern heathens, modern people, making the best of what we got. All right, well, I'm probably not going to be able to charge my phone, so I'm going to move around a little bit more so I can be more liberating here.
Fresh raspberry mead. I would love some fresh raspberry mead. Did you make it yourself, John?
John.
Yeah, he's had some fresh. He was enjoying some fresh raspberry.
How did he already make the mead, or is it fermenting? Is it finished or what?
He says made from his own honey.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Very nice. And
I'm actually thinking about getting into mead making. I'm thinking about it on a small scale, because for the purpose of the tribe, like for our events, for things, whenever we attend other neighboring group events like Raven Moon Hearth, when they do their thing, they make their own mead. So we're always supporting them in that way, or any other local meaderies and stuff. But like when it comes to like what we want to do as the tribe, like thinking about it, it would be really awesome energy to put into our rituals, to have home brewed mead, even if it's just like a gallon or two a year.
Jesse, I want to say though, you should totally do that, because me and Cliff can help you tremendously in that endeavor. Because Cliff taught me how to make mead. It's not that complicated.
It's not.
It is, but it's just an investment.
It's not hard. It takes like it takes like basically just 3 ingredients: water, yeast, and honey. And then however you want to back sweeten it, or add, flavors and stuff to it.
You already got the terms on back sweetening. So ideally you don't want to back sweeten. But if it happens, it happens. So I got lucky with my first time making mead. Don't mind me if I cut you off here. But
no, go ahead.
Basically though, so my birthday, I want to say 2020 or 2021, Cliff gave me a really awesome birthday gift. It's like making your own mead kind of starter kit. And it was badass. And here's the funny thing though. The whole experience was my first time. And that's kind of like a honeymoon phase too in and of itself. It's like the first time making mead was amazing. It was badass. I was so excited. And here's the funny thing. When I made it and I tasted it, I'm like, oh, this is badass. It was probably the best mead I've ever made. I made some good meats after that. I made a really good raspberry mead, a good blueberry mead. The one that I fucked up enormously was a banana mead. It's kind of a funny story. So
banana
mead. It sounds amazing. One day I will perfect it. But here's what happened. So I got some bananas. I mashed them up, right? Now, I kind of got hung up on the amount of bananas. I was worried that the banana flavor wouldn't be present. So I added a lot of banana. Probably more than I should have. So then I'm like, man, I need to go to the store and I need to do something. I'm just going to leave it in my room for like 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. What can go wrong? Yeah, a lot.
I think it's probably because of the
Any
sugar
shapes you think you
content, right?
need, huh?
Probably because of the sugar content in the
Exactly.
banana.
That's where I fucked up. So basically, I came home. I walked back into my room. I smelled bananas. I'm like, huh. And then I see it overflowed and it exploded.
Ah,
So that batch was ruined.
yeah,
But hey, you live and you learn. You
yep.
work your way from there. So now I know next time I attempt banana meat. But I'll be honest with you, next time I make meat, though, it's going to be traditional. I want to remake what I did the first time.
Yeah.
Just because it's so simple and so pure and so
Get your
innocent.
baseline down, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Can you hear the
Buddy,
music in the background by chance?
I don't hear. I hear cicadas.
Good, good. So
Yeah.
there's like a little party in my
Yeah.
cul right now. It's like a food truck event.
Oh yeah.
There's like a crappy band play cover songs. It's like,
All
oh
right, on.
man.
uh, cool seeing the deer. The deer figured out is my spiritual animal. Considering when I was a teen, a deer was my quote brother for over a year. My mother was a wildlife rehabilitator, and we had gotten him as a fawn, only a day old because his mother was hit by a car. Uh, I've had experiences like this. There was when I was living in New York. This wasn't on Long Island, by the way. I was living in where down the road from where my mother lives now, and there was a similar situation. However, what had happened was I was clearing some of my uncle's property. They had just like they were clearing some of their property on their house, my uncle and my aunt, and I was down there like clearing some of the property, and I'm in there with like a weed eater, just buzzing shit down and bzz, bzz, bzz. And I noticed something in front of me, and I stopped, and I'm like, this doesn't belong here, and it's brown and it had white spots, and there was a fawn bedded down in the grass, laying still, and I'm like, backed up, looked around, no other deer around, but I'm like, clearly, if the fawn's bedded down, something, she, whatever, it was put there by its mother. Because what deer will do is after they birth their young, the mother has to go and feed, like the mother has to go and do stuff. But to keep the fawn in tow would be dangerous. So what the does will do is they'll bed their fawns down. Well, by nature, the fawns want to get up and follow the mother. The mother doesn't want that to happen. So what they will do is they will go in and they will beat down with their hooves the fawn to lay down, like stay put, don't move, I'll come back and get you, kind of thing. Like that's the gesture. So the fawns don't move for nothing. Even if a lawnmower comes, if a weed eater comes, they will literally lay there and die if something happens because they've been put there by their mother. So what we ended up finding out was there was no mother. We left the fawn there all day and all night. Came back the next day and it was still there. The mother never came back. So my aunt fostered the fawn. She took the fawn, got a bottle of and made a formula, and nursed this fawn back to like was basically its imprinted mother, to the point where it lived outside for a little bit, but at night and stuff she would bring it in and keep it in their garage and stuff. And when the fawn would go outside and would run around, whenever my aunt would come around, the fawn would come and run to my aunt as though my aunt was its mother. She imprinted on my aunt and recognized her as its mother. And it would come up to us as kids and it would like suck on our earlobes thinking that it was a teat. It was the wildest experience, man. Like I've never had anything like that in my life that I could compare to.
That's
But so fostering deer, like fostering animals like that, like wild animals, it's incredible. It's the most enriching experience that you can possibly have.
Well, I've never been in that situation. There was an encounter I had last year. Some of you might recall if you've seen my post, but there's one time I got super close to a deer. I mean, stupid close. I'm talking like 5 to 7 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very obvious in the pictures, but this is the one and only time I felt very intimidated by the deer because I was so close.
Yeah.
And while I got some really good pictures, the mama basically let me know, hey, you're
Yeah.
getting a little too close, man.
Yeah. They'll make racket. They'll snort. They'll
Exactly.
bleat. Yeah.
And that's something I appreciate, though. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. They're not exactly my friends per se, but we're developing an understanding and appreciation. That's all you can do with those kind
Yep.
of creatures, especially hawks. Like back in my early progress as a Norse pagan, hawks were very prevalent for the longest time, and now it's deer.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
each one has their own role to play, and something to learn from and appreciate and to apply in their daily practices. Hence, kind of goes full circle what we're trying to explain and what we're talking about.
Yeah, that it's our relationship with the wild, our relationship with that which exists without our normal confines or constructs of order. You know, they are wild, and it's like my relationship with the heron. You know, I've had really close encounters with the heron. I've had the heron approach me in proximity to my area. You know, they've flown to me, they've flown over me, they've flown by me. They're also very reclusive. They don't like to be crowded. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah,
when you get too close, they're like, "Bruh, back off, man. Like I need my
yeah,
space." But if they come to you, and if they are, again, the more you're around them, that there's this like familiarity that gets built. There's like, you are in our space now, and so you're kind of under the confines, the rules of the wild, the rules of the jungle, the laws of the wild. You know what I mean?
exactly right.
So
And
you're kind of in inserting yourself into that, putting yourself into that dynamic is, it's rewarding, because you're like, wow, I'm entering into their space and living in their guidelines now, and it's, yeah, it puts a lot of things into perspective.
and that kind of ties into a lot of what I was mentioning earlier. And pardon me for repeating the same thing, but it goes back
That's
to
fun.
this afternoon when I went on my quest and with the deer. So I think I might have mentioned. I feel like I didn't though. So I came there. I made my offerings to the deer. Moments later, I saw the deer, but the whole time I had this crippling stomach pain. And at first, I'm like, oh, all right. I guess I ate something that didn't really agree with me, but it wasn't like anything like that though. I wasn't nauseous. I wasn't sick. I was just in pain. But then it kind of goes back to struggle breeds greatness. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling uncomfortable right now, but I'm in the presence of these amazing creatures. And this is something that doesn't happen often. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to struggle, I'm going to smile the whole damn time. Like, yes, I'll do it 1,000 times over if I could. Just be in the company of these majestic creatures, to share company, and offer my appreciation, my love for them. Again,
Yeah.
that's something to bear in mind when you're encountering the wildlife. But also, as I mentioned to Jesse and a few others, prior to making my offering, do your research. Don't upset the natural balance of what they ingest, what they encounter. Just while you have good of intentions as it is, further it by doing your research and making sure you're not going to upset the natural order of things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like today, I looked up, like, okay, I can do blueberries, I can do apples, I have them in my house. Let's do it. And there's other things that I almost did, but it would have been counterproductive.
Corn is a big one too.
Don't do corn. It's very hard to digest that. As also as with humans too, though. We have troubles.
They love it. They love it. They love corn. They love corn. They'll eat it. Matter of fact, I remember I remember growing up in New York, and because of like the area that we lived in, like we would purposely put out, not saying we, but like neighbors and stuff, they would purposely put out ground up corn, like cattle grade corn, for deer in the harsh winter months, because there ain't shit out there for them to eat.
Exactly.
There was two reasons for that. One was because, well, they need something to eat, so let's feed them. The second reason was because we're going to hunt them and we want them to taste good, so let's give them corn. So that way, when they eat the corn, their meat's going to taste good, So it was purpose. There was purpose behind why people did what they did. Um, but if that's all they eat, I mean, it's gonna mess them up a bit on the inside. It's kind of like if all you eat is certain types of food.
Fast food or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your digestive system's gonna it'll I guess adapt at some point in time, but you're gonna feel it.
It'll
you
remind
know?
you, like, hey, this food
Yeah.
looks good, but I'll fuck you. Like,
Right.
not doing this
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. But ground up corn, like corn, like maybe not whole corn, but like in small doses, it's okay because look, like that they're gonna naturally eat that stuff anyway. If they're near a cornfield, they're gonna go and eat corn.
Right.
They're gonna eat berries, they're gonna eat apples, they're gonna eat all these things. So, they're gonna consume it. And yeah, as long as you're not like giving them, poison
Debbie
and things that are
bars, fucking like,
yeah, Big Macs
ice
from
cream or
McDonald's or
some
whatever.
crazy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
John's got blue jays, bees, wasps, snakes that come up to you. Blue jays stay. That's crazy because blue jays are kind of angry little fuckers, man. Like they
very
will.
antisocial in every way. Like, yeah, you can't fuck with blue jays very often. So
Yeah. I've had blue jays come and like dive bomb me when you get too close to their nest, man. They're like little kamikaze.
Actually,
Meow, meow.
a long time ago, I remember watching a video that someone said, "No, don't take this seriously," but I heard that apparently blue jays can sense an angry male. Now, I'm not sure if that's true. For whatever reason, when I heard that, though, it made sense. I don't know why, but I'm like, huh, yeah, males, testosterone, whatnot. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe not, but it's whatever, though. But,
Yeah. But like Marwin says that corn, a lot of mammals can't digest it because they lack the protein to do it.
That makes sense.
They love it. But again,
Yeah.
they're not. It's not the same as like cattle, domestic cattle. Like I remember raising cattle on the farm that I
pigs
worked
for that
on.
matter. Goddamn, pigs will eat fucking anything.
Ticks?
Pigs.
Oh, pigs. Yeah, pigs.
They'll
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
eat anything.
Pigs
That's
are
pigs
just walking garbage disposals. You can give them
Yeah,
anything.
I love
You-
them.
you- they'll eat a
love
shoe.
bacon. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they'll eat anything. That's like the farm's garbage disposal. We never had pigs. We never ate pig either. I grew up in an environment where pig was off limits as far as menu items go. But we had like the cattle that we raised. They would eat hay and we would give them grain. But when we brought them into when it come time to slaughter them, we increased their corn intake because we wanted the meat to be sweeter and we wanted them to get fat. And it was amazing because the more corn that they ate, the richer their meat tasted. You would when you would go to slaughter them, the fat that they had accumulated was like dark yellow from all the corn that they ate. It was wild.
Something I'd like to mention too is I haven't got this comment yet, but I feel like one day I will. It's like, hey Patrick, you encounter a bunch of deer.
Yeah.
You should go hunting with me. And I'll say, Jesse, you already know I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it anyways. There's no way on earth I'll ever. Now, don't quote me because I can't predict the future, but there's no way in hell that I'll ever hunt a deer. Because anytime I see a deer, it's sacred.
Yeah.
It's special. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'll stick vegetables that day. I'll stick to candy bars if I have to. I'm not fucking.
Now, have you ever eaten venison?
Deer. I've had venison though. I've the first time I had venison was or deer hot dogs. It was amazing. It was best hot
There had
dog
to have been other things. Because look, like hot dog is like an amalgamation of different meats.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So there was I got to assume there had to have been like other meat products in
pork probably.
Pork, beef. I mean, like because venison is so lean. Like even if you grind venison, you have to add beef and stuff else to it, other fats to make it congeal and make it of a patty, because you can't just. It's such a lean meat. Because and like what Marwin was saying is like talking about like cattle's have 4 stomachs. they can eat all these things because they're constantly regurgitating. Like deer do the same thing. Like they'll chew cud. That's what that is like when they. So what cattle do is they'll gorge themselves on whatever they're eating, and it'll go into their first stomach as like a storage, and then they'll regurgitate and chew that stored stuff that they initially
Huh.
chewed, and chew it up some more, and then they'll swallow it, and it goes through this like multi-layered digestive
Kind of like a refinement
thing.
process.
Yeah, exactly.
More
So
or
their
less.
digestive tracts, their digestive systems are different. They do have what you might consider like 4 stomachs.
But it serves a very noble purpose from what I hear so far, you know. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy how that works, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, one of the things I don't like to eat at all, it's funny because I just mentioned hot dogs, but I loved bologna when I was a kid, but when I grew older, I'm like, yeah, no, bologna, 3 meats, we're good. We're all right. We don't need that right now. We're cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big eater by any means. I just can't handle foods that are really spicy or
You're not a spicy guy. Well, you're a spicy guy. You just don't like the spice. Animals are fascinating, Marwin.
It went offline for a second there.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Cool. We got your smiling face frozen in time. Everybody
right. Great. That's great.
there's your thumbnail. Just two hombres just cheesing it on the screen, right?
Yeah, right. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I can still hear you, but we still got that beautiful face. Just.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm believing myself right now. So yeah, I have to say, I'm glad that's
TMI. Yeah.
Yeah, TMI. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Marwin got a screenshot. Marwin, you're gonna have to post that.
Please
get a screenshot
do.
and please post that on wherever you're watching this on. If you're on in the Highland group or on Facebook, please tag.
Very much a Highland group.
Okay, cool. Please tag us in that.
Marwin, though, is her and I have been chatting regularly for some time now. She's a very special friend of mine and
cool.
very insightful and has done very sweet things. It's an awesome contributor to my group. She,
Excellent.
you know, as well as Cliff and a few others too. Also, I haven't read the comments at all, but anyone watching from my group, just drop the comment malarkey, and I'll know. We'll know.
All right. Hail to you, Mark,
Malarkey.
who says hail. Yes.
It just stands out. Just stands out.
Comment down below malarkey, so we know who's watching from where. And for that matter, anybody's watching. We got 7 live viewers across 2 different platforms.
You said 7?
7 live viewers.
I wish it was 9. I really wish it was 9 for obvious reasons, but you know.
We'll get there. You guys are watching wherever you're watching. If you're watching this live on the Midgard Musings page, then it is a public page. Of course, if you're in the Highland group, that is a closed-off group, so you can't share it. But if you're watching this on the Midgard Musing page, or if you're watching this on YouTube, they are public platforms. Please share them out. John says he'll post it also after some artistic renderings. I love artistic renderings. I love to be made a meme. You have my full permission, John, to make me a meme. Dragon Dancer says malarkey on YouTube. John on YouTube says malarkey from Louisiana. We got Morwin, of course, that says malarkey.
There we go.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Guys, gals, ladies and gents, you're all awesome. Here on a Friday night live stream with myself and Patrick Walsh. Just chilling, man. Just chilling, you know. What else have you got coming down? Patrick, you got anything coming down the pipeline that you're excited about? I got a few things. What about you?
Got a garage.
A garage?
I walked into my... Yeah, I was in my garage previously.
Oh, okay.
I was.
Yeah, I was asking if you had anything kind of like fun, exciting, you know, that you're looking forward to, that you want to share or announce. Yeah, news, anything like that.
I do actually, but I'll keep it hush hush for obvious reasons. But
okay.
What am I looking forward to?
What about Hylung, man? What's going on with Hylung that you're looking forward to?
No, I'm gonna start before that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
tomorrow.
The floor's yours, my man.
Thank you. No, you're good. Tomorrow, evening, I'll be hanging out with my brother Aaron, my actual flesh and brother, and
Right
he's.
on.
See, here's the thing: is I feel very fortunate in this regard that I have family that appreciate and accept my lifestyle. Now, I don't
Blessing.
post very prominently on my For You page, but if you know me, you know me, basically, kind of thing. But they have come to appreciate that, and that means the world to me. And there are some special times that my brother and we would have a few drinks and just share amazing music. And there are some very fond memories that I carry with me that we're just doing that very thing and sharing. I share with him high and long, and he shares some awesome music that he loves. It's just sharing
Hmm.
music, in my personal opinion, is one of the most best forms of love and appreciation. Jesse, me and you, I can name a couple songs right now, but it's just that love and appreciation for music. But going from that though is I'm very much eager and looking forward to seeing High and Lung again, my fourth time. 15 minutes from my
John's going
house.
to see him in New Orleans the week
Who's
of his
that?
birthday. John on YouTube's going to see Highland
Oh, nice.
in New Orleans. New Orleans.
That's a pretty badass birthday gift. I'm not gonna fucking lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be seeing them this year, shortly before November. You know, but
Yes.
November
Me
1st
too.
is when I see them. So then that'll be 15 minutes from my house. It's the first time in my life that I saw Highland so close to home. And I wish that I had the money and the means of treating him to like a steak dinner or some crazy shit. Like, hey guys, beers are on me. Let's go to town. But that's kind of unrealistic. But that's it. I'm very excited to see Han Lung again. They've become great friends in many ways.
Hey, you
And
know what? You know what though?
what's up?
I got an idea for you. You're going to
Okay.
see them, and you're talking about like, the capacity of which you want to give them something, right? You're a badass artist, man. What if you drew something for them? What if you drew
That,
something for the band, whether it's
that,
Maria or Kai or Alex or the band or something like? What about that? What about a hand-drawn picture from Patrick Walsh presented to Heilung at the Missouri ritual? What about that?
I'm definitely going to do that. I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to do that because I've actually done that back in November 2021. I did something like that, and it got lost in antiquity, unfortunately. But I will find the picture. But I drew a picture of Maria, and she really loved it. And I sent it to her, and she appreciated it though. But
Yeah.
yeah, but that's something. Yeah, that's something I definitely want to do, and I will strive for and work towards. And
Marwin loves the idea.
oh,
She
I'm
said she
sure
loves
she
the
does.
idea.
She knows I can do it, but as
Yeah.
well as you though. But that's that. Going further into High Lung though is I've been very blessed and very grateful to have the rapport I do with some of the members, not all the members, because I can't be greedy, I can't be overconfident by any means, but there are some members I won't mention their names, but I feel like some of you already know. But like these members though, they're part of my Facebook group, and they're a blessing. They're amazing people,
John's
and
gonna John's gonna be seeing them for the first time after he's paid twice to see them and never saw them. Right? He's paid
oh
twice to see them.
no,
And now he's going to be seeing them within a week of Halloween. I'm actually going to be seeing them the week before. Like, I'm going to be going to the Huntsville, Alabama ritual with my wife,
that's your
and I
first
think
one,
that's
huh?
like the 20. Yep, my first time. First time. I'm
Hell
getting
yeah!
my
I wish
getting
I
my
was
high
there.
lung cherry pop, boy.
Okay.
Getting that sucker just pow.
Dude,
You know?
I'm gonna be hitting you up constantly. Hey, what are you? Are you?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be epic. I already have a feeling it's just going to be the most epic thing. Like Marwin said, or Marwin says, like, you're going to have the best time ever. I believe that, man. It's like, how can you
Absolutely.
not? You know?
I like to believe I'm a testament to that experience too. I've seen them 3 times, but soon to be 4 times. But each time I ever
Never
got to
get
see
tired of it.
closer and closer. Like it's funny.
Yeah. Whoop, there goes Patrick. Hopefully he'll be back. Maybe there was a technical issue. Maybe his phone died. Not sure. But yeah, man, like I'm super excited. I'm super stoked. Um, John says we should meet up, make big fire, and drink mead. Put on a batch tonight. Hell yeah! You guys are in the New Orleans or the Nolans area, where John's going to be going. Just check out Highlung tour dates to make sure you're where you're at, and definitely link up. You know, I'll be at the Huntsville, Alabama ritual. So for anybody listening and watching, my wife and I will be there. Would love to meet up. Love to get pictures. Love to get fan interaction. Just stuff like that to be able to share and tag the band in and all of that stuff. Here he
Oh,
comes.
there I am. God damn.
There you are.
Hell
We lost you for a
like,
second.
Jesus Christ.
We lost you for just a minute there.
For a second.
I was like, oh no, did his phone die?
Almost, but no, not quite there yet. But goddamn, I was gonna like,
okay.
I got at least 50% here. Like.
Oh, you're good though, right? 50%.
Yeah, 50% more or less. I don't know specifically, but it's whatever. But yeah, Jesse, I'm very, very excited for you to see them your first time, and I already know, as I mentioned previously, before I got disconnected. So, fun story about my experience with Highlung. Each time I saw them, so I'm closer and closer and closer. Now, the best experience I've had, naturally, I want to say, last year when I got to meet them and hang out with them.
When you say closer, you mean like
visually?
Okay, like closer to the stage.
Yeah, visually, yes,
yeah,
but okay. Also metaphorically as well. But the first crowd. So let me talk about crowds. The first crowd I was part of, garbage. There were some obnoxious people who were there. It seemed like, they seemed like they just got invited by someone who semi understands and appreciates them, but don't really give a shit. They're just there because they got the ticket.
Really?
But then the second ritual at Red Rocks is the best crowd, the best experience as far as that level goes of appreciation and love for Highlung.
I feel like
I stand by to this day. And this is shortly after. This is right around the time the pandemic calmed the fuck down.
Yeah.
And Highlung's like, you know what? We'll do it. We'll travel to one place, Red Rocks, and we'll do it. That's it.
I feel like the Red Rocks.
I'm sorry. You're good. The Red Rocks, though, I sent and shared many videos from this experience. Mine as well as other people's too, but the whole time, in the very beginning until the end, it was filled with nothing but love. And the whole time throughout the ritual, you hear, thank you! Thank you! You can hear my voice in a few of the videos, and not even my own videos. You can hear me just saying thank you, and just that level of thankfulness and appreciation is unmatched by any experience I've ever had in my life. Now, granted, that aside, last year, it's going to be very hard to rival those two experiences because last year, meeting up with a couple of the warriors prior to the ritual and then hanging out with them afterwards. I mean, my brain.
Yeah, like VIP treatment right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it though. Red Rocks is probably the most meaningful experience as far as like crowds and fellow supporters go. But then last year has to be probably the best because engaging with these members specifically. I'm just going to mention a couple members on the off chance they're watching this. Alex Cabot and Martin. These two guys, here, 1 second, really quick here. I don't know if I can switch the angle here. I'm going to try here. Can you see this?
Yeah. Oh,
good.
Yeah. That's a great
That's
picture.
Martin, there's Alex, and then they have, this is all from the after party.
Yeah.
There's Kid, and then, of course,
Maria.
Yeah. And then this is kind of like a collage of my near my altar, but here's a collage of my experiences last year. Mainly that's from like Red Rocks, but also collectively it's just an example and appreciation for why I love and appreciate Highlung the way I do and how it's changed my life in a lot of ways and has shaped me being the person I am and creating the support group that I have today.
I feel like that Red Rocks ritual can, like, in comparison to like monumental stages and things like that, like I feel like the only thing that could probably compare close to that would be like Castle Fest.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know,
I'll give my right arm to go to a bit of Castle Fest, but
me too.
but you know that's another cool thing too. As I mentioned, then ask some of the members of my group though, it's like, what's your first experience and why? And for me, and as well as a few of my other special friends that I'm, you know, are part of my life, Castle Fest is now forever always going to be my favorite ritual, just
Yeah.
because that's when I was like first introduced to them and appreciated their work.
Yeah, it's a great production. John says he's
Absolutely.
going to be releasing a Lamb of God roar several times while he's at that ritual. Hopefully someone picks it up. Well, man, if you got the same, if you got anything close to the pipes that Randy Bly has, you know, that whoa, just,
Right.
you know, like you're gonna be heard, man.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Lamb of God, like they're one of my favorite bands too. Like I've seen them several times.
Also, to mention anyone who's going to a Heinlein ritual, just please be considerate, be mindful. Don't litter. Don't leave any beer cans or litter behind you. Just bear in mind their intentions of wherever they perform. They want to be clean. And what I really love about Heinlein is that a lot of their profits go to planting trees, which I find freaking amazing. Like, just in the very name Heinlein, some of you may know, some of you may not know, it translates to healing.
Healing.
I couldn't say it better myself, you know, this healing. And that's exactly what they've offered to me, as well as offering a safe space and being examples that great things are possible in our lives if we bear our intentions. But also, Jesse, remembering your video from yesterday, intentions are great and all, but what's important is to consider it to daily practice and keep it consistent and keep it meaningful. It's great to have the well of investment intentions, but just follow that up with your devotion. Follow that up with your love and your appreciation, and make it something that's actually part of your life. And it'll gain traction. It'll gain meaningfulness. Each time you make it a daily practice, it becomes more and more special. Now, as Jesse mentioned also in the previous video, not every time you're going to pray to the gods or your land veterinary or your house veterinary, it's not going to be amazing every time. But you're making the effort. And I believe that that's what's most important.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, like, don't expect the same thing every single time necessarily, but at least if you go into those moments with the repetition, the orthopraxy, you know, like doing it a specific way, the exact way every time, like that, the habitual repetition, then you are, again, you're kind of like laying this foundation to ensure that the experience is going to be the most meaningful, right? Because it's not by happenstance. It's not just out of necessity. It's not, well, shit, it's Tuesday, I need to do it again. It's, no, you've got a real purpose behind what you're doing. And so the purpose behind it is what really drives it. It's, yes, your intentions are something, but the purpose behind it is what really drives it. Like, we've talked about that in the past too, about intention over purpose, or intention versus purpose. Like, you can have all the intention in the world. Like, I can be intent on doing one of the big things that I had on my channel, on my podcast a couple years ago with Papa Olafson, talking about intention over purpose, right? I had an intent at that time to do something for a specific holy tide, or for a specific moment of the year, a specific time of the year. It was either Sigerbloat, or it was Winter Nights, or it was something of an auspicious event for Germanic heathens, and my intention was to do X, Y, Z. Well, other things came up, and the purpose of why I didn't do it was more important than my intention to do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The purpose why I couldn't do it was because I needed to tend to my hearth, my clan, my family. That something that was nearer, closer to me than just the seeming need or obligation that I felt to do something. So I had to shift, right? I had to pivot, and that's what when we are purpose driven, I feel that the intentions that we have are manifested more clearly, and we have a stronger result out of it when we are purpose driven, right? And so yeah, something to keep in mind, I guess, right? Have
Absolutely.
your intentions in place, but have a purpose behind your intention. What is the purpose behind what I'm doing? Am I doing it because because somebody wrote about it 1,000 years ago or more,
We
and
talked about it
that's why I'm
recently.
doing it? Or is it because of, again, yeah, like have your purpose set?
And if anyone hasn't seen yet already and is part of this cast tonight, please check out Jesse's latest video of Midgard's Musings. It's definitely worth the time. And like myself, I told Jesse, like when it was released that morning, I didn't watch it. I wanted to find a specific time to appreciate and understand what he had to offer. And that's also ties back to what I mentioned previously, and I preach it very often, his intentions. But as Jesse mentioned too, is coming at it with consistency and regularity, and keeping it meaningful, and bearing in your purpose and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, because that's a lot. Like we were talking before about the things that we're looking forward to, or what we're excited about. And keeping it a bit ambiguous because of the nature of it, right? We're looking forward to the same thing in November,
Absolutely.
right? We have something that we're going to be talking about eventually at some point in time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For everybody listening and watching, that's like, what in the hell does he mean? Like Patrick and I are both looking forward to the same thing later this year. The purpose behind it. We each have our own purpose, right? Like it is purpose driven. There is a purpose for this event that we're both looking forward to. That more details, I'm sure, will come when the time is right. But that's the important thing, is when we get there, when things culminate, when everything converges, we're going to have unique individual intentions being brought to this, but the purpose is unified. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And thank you, Dragon Dancer, acknowledging the episode. Thank you very much for acknowledging that. But again, it's what the purpose is a unified purpose. We're coming together in that, combined unification. I intend to do certain things, right? We all intend to experience something, perhaps, but the purpose is collective. There's going to be a convergence,
yeah,
and a meeting of it.
Absolutely.
Some other things that I'm excited about too. Next
Yeah,
week.
sorry I didn't ask you that question, but yeah, please explain.
No, it's cool. Like, I mean, this isn't just my thing. I mean, we're all here. But like one of the things that I'm looking forward to next week, specifically for this channel, for this for Midgard Musings, for the podcast, Random Heathen Ramblings, is I'm going to be talking to Scott Shell, Dr. Scott Shell, who is a practicing Germanic heathen himself, with a academic background. He has a doctorate. He has a PhD degree in Germanic linguistics. And so we're going to be talking next week on this podcast with Dr. Shell about the pros and cons of academic heathen reconstruction, which, for anyone who knows me and knows the angle that I take in my heathenry, is not, I don't consider myself a reconstructionist. I don't consider myself one who is highly dedicated to the revitalization of old ways, but I love the approach of academic study to understand how things were done and apply those aspects into modern context. And so I'm really excited to have him on this podcast next week to dive a bit into that, and hopefully get a chance to speak and expound upon Scott's personal practice, if he's willing and wanting to talk about it, and just really get into the meat and potatoes of things, because I know there's some people that are watching right now who are both subscribers to me and Scott on YouTube, and and follow his Facebook page, the Daily Havamal. And so yeah, I'm like, that's the first, at least to my recollection. Like I've had people on the show before who are academically driven, who have higher learning credentials and stuff. Like I've had Robert Sass on here, but like to have Dr. Shell on the show next week, that is one milestone that I'm really looking forward to. So that'll be airing next Thursday morning, and I hope everybody is looking forward to it as well. And if you
I
have
am.
questions, by the
That's
way,
right.
if you have questions about things, definitely be sure to I don't know. This is a live stream, so I may not capture it all right at the moment. But if you want something asked or talked about on the podcast next week, send me a message either on Facebook or you can email me, midgardmusingstn@gmail.com. You can also comment on any of Scott's social media here. So if you're subscribing to him on YouTube, I know he has a post up on his community page with that. So I've checked out the comment section. I've seen some really, really cool comments that have been put down there asking about stuff, and then also on his Daily Havamal page. So John says here, he just goes with what works for me, within reason of historical basis. And that's I think one of the important things to remember is what works for you, right? In reflection of yesterday's podcast here, Hearth Cult. What works for you. You have to build your own Hearth Cult. Nobody can tell you what your Hearth Cult should be or shouldn't be. Whatever your Hearth Cult practices are yours. You might draw inspiration from historical stuff. You might draw inspiration from modern stuff. You might draw inspiration from anywhere and everywhere. Right? The Bandamanga Saga says like wisdom is wisdom from wherever it comes, and that's evident. That's true. That reflects across everywhere pretty much. So that's important. You've got to have it though. Whatever it is, you've got to have it. If you don't, you're missing out.
Exactly.
If you're trying to do something because somebody else says you should do it, or because you read about that somebody else did it, right? If that's the thing that you're doing and that's your reason why, you're missing the mark a bit. Like there's something that you're missing about Hearth Cult that you need to figure out. And that's that's where you come into play. You as an individual.
You have to make it your own. You have to make it part of your journey. You can't let someone else define, as well as your struggles too, but also other people that you are inspired by. It's well and good to follow and appreciate and support people that you do, but also support to take something from that and make it your own and make it special. And that's something I also involved with the Highlander group as well. Just to not just appreciate them, but also make it a daily practice. And that's something that Heathen 3 touches a lot of points on as well. And also, as I mentioned previously too, give credit when it's due. You see someone doing something badass, like, hey, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing. May I take this and make it a daily practice? Or, thank you, Highlander, thank you for Wardruna for being who you are, what you are, offering what you do. Skip praise and appreciation when it's due. That's what I'm trying to convey there.
I like what Marwin says, right? As a baby heathen, Marwin says, as a baby heathen, I desire to be more educated. However, quote, you do what works for you is the common theme that I use as my foundation. And like, again, the educational aspects of it, right? The things that you're going to capture, absorb, and learn along the way. As a baby heathen, Marwin, I just got to say, right, this is one of the most critical and important things as a newbie heathen, as a baby heathen, as you put it, is to develop that Hearth Cult. If you're jumping into heathenry, Germanic heathenry, if you're jumping into this and looking strictly to what do I do with the gods, right, this, that, and the other, that comes later on. Know what your Hearth Cult is. Maybe you already have it, right? Maybe you've already established that. It's got to be there, though. If you don't, you're, again, missing out. It's the cart before the horse type of thing. John has Druidry, Ossetru, Hoodoo, all mixed in together. That's your Hearth Cult, man. Nobody can tell you that that's wrong. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that you're you know, the blending of yards, the mixing of things, right? Like that's wrong, whatever. No, nobody. Look, if anybody tries to tell you that, if anybody does say that you're wrong in doing it,
They don't have your best interest in hand.
don't take any stock into that, because who the hell are they to tell you how you are practicing and how you are doing things is right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, hey, if it works for you, it's your hall, your call. Eric Shervin on the Ravens Call is famous for saying, "Not my hall, not my call," and I love it. I've loved it for years. I've been a subscriber and a follower of Eric Shervin, the Word Weaver, for as long as I've been a content creator. I've become friends with him, and one of these days we're going to meet. Every time we plan on coming out to Texas and try to link up, something happens, something comes up. Big things, right? It's not like we overbooked or we misplanned, but like big things have happened where we just couldn't. One of these days, though, you will see Eric Wordweaver Shervin and me on camera together. It will happen. But that's one of his things, right? Not my hall, not my call. I love it. I subscribe to that. I love that mantra, and it means more than just the poetic essence of it. If it ain't your hall, then it ain't your call.
Exactly. You make it what you can, and you know.
Look at whoever this is. Blaze it for Freya.
No, yeah, sorry, I'm
5,
yeah,
420. Blaze it for Freya.
I am kind of blazing right now.
Hey,
getting ready for the call tonight here in a second because I got
we got it
tomorrow morning. But
yeah, absolutely,
fun fucking times.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
It has been great.
But I appreciate you, man. And
I want to thank you too, Jesse, for just, as I mentioned to you more times than I can care to mention. You know, Jesse here, he was there for me from the very start. And what's funny though is when Jesse was there from the very start, he wasn't at the level he is right now. Like when I saw his videos, I left a comment. I want to say you might have replied like maybe the next day. I don't remember that much, but I know you did reply. And then it grew and developed into something special. And then we became friends on Facebook. Then, you know, I'm skipping over a lot of things, but I made the journey to come visit you in your neck of the woods. And despite all the shenanigans and malarkey that occurred at that time, we made it fucking happen.
You made it happen, man.
Be all the more better, though.
Yeah, you made it happen. You really did the legwork on that. You know, I was just sitting here ready to host you. You know what I mean? You did the legwork. You went through the whole thing.
My phone was at like 5% when I was like literally like an hour away from you. Like, come on, damn it! I'm almost there.
Whoever Facebook user is, I can't see your name, but they said thank you for the gift of the Driftwood Elder Futhark runes. I do make runes, and if that's the Driftwood set that I made, and it landed in your possession, whoever you are, then I'm glad that they continue to serve a purpose for you. I will be making some more Birchwood rune sets here soon, because the thing that we're alluding to, Patrick and I, about being excited about in the coming months, I'm going to be making and crafting Elder Futhark runes made out of birch for sale, all of the proceeds of which, minus the shipping costs, I will have to take some of that money out to cover shipping, but the rest of it, all of the proceeds are going to go to fund this thing that Patrick and I are alluding to. There's a collective journey, there's a pilgrimage, there's a summit happening towards the end of this year that he and I and others who are near and dear to us will be a part of, and the sale of those rune sets are going to help fund this journey. So be on the lookout for that on Midgard Musings, because when I sell them, you get a badass rune set that I crafted, and then the proceeds are going towards this journey. Okay, cool. Leon. Yeah, I remember you, Leon.
Hey, what's up, Leon?
Yeah. I remember making those runes and remember sending them to you. So yes, absolutely. That's great. It says make your own runes, but I might have to get a set of those. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I say, I'm going to probably make a run of. I'm probably going to be making I don't know how many sets I'm going to be making, but I'm going to make as many as I can between like this month until the end of October.
Hey, Jesse.
So yeah.
I cut out there for a second, but you hear what I said? That the
The runes. I heard something about the runes. Yes, the runes, but I didn't catch the rest of it. But I know you've got a set, Patrick. I think I made a set.
Son of a bitch.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, you're back again. Go ahead. Say it again.
I'll try again. So, the rune set that Leon's referring to, I bought him from you.
I remember this now.
Yes, you included the incense in that rune set too.
Yep. I remember that now.
It took me a minute there, but now that you mentioned Leon, I know exactly what he's talking about though. So yeah.
I remember that now.
And bearing testament to that, I have a rune set you made for me, and it's been on point every time I use your runes. And that's one thing I'm going to mention very briefly before we get off here is me personally, I don't mess with the runes very often because I hold them with high reverence and not something to be taken lightly. And while watching yesterday's video, I'd like to make it a daily practice, but at the same time, a greater part of me just wants to keep runes sacred and meaningful and not something to be taken lightly. Not something just like, oh, hey, I'm about to get a job interview. I'm going to draw a post on my Facebook. No, fuck that. No. You're missing the entire point. Anyways, getting heated there. But yeah, for me, runes have always been sacred, and I'm going to keep it sacred. But yeah, that's just my position and opinion.
Well, I'm happy to accompany you on your runic journey, Patrick. To whatever degree you wish to embark on it. John is willing to put a gathering in the New Orleans area and south of New Orleans in the south area of the islands if anyone is interested. So for all of my listeners, viewers, watchers, people in the area on Patrick's group, if you're in the New Orleans or respective areas, keep an eye out for John because he wants to do some stuff, real life, interactions. Runes are not toys. Runes are tools, right, Leon?
Yeah,
runes are magic, so yes, very particular with the runes. Yeah, absolutely. Dragon Dancer uses tarot for daily pulls. If you need them, I don't. I do runic magic. I do use the runes for divinatory purposes, but it's not a part of my daily practice. If it is a part of your daily practice, rock on with it. I also offer rune readings every month for my Patreon supporters at the Chieftain tier or above. What up, Dad? Yes, Patrick's dad. Hail and hello. I see him walking in the background there, I guess. But yeah, hail and hello.
He says hello.
Sweet. All right.
That's
we just watch ants, the birds, and the wind for guidance. That's animism, dude.
Yep.
And the runes can enhance and elaborate on things, but that's animism, man. We see signs and we read omens in different ways in different places. So, but yeah, man, I'm happy to help with anything that you're doing, Patrick, on the runes. Always here to offer aid if you so choose. So,
absolutely.
But I think we're done, man. I think the live stream is we're about ready to rock on here. Everybody that's tuned in, watched on Patrick's page, thank you so much for supporting him in this way because this is great interaction for him in this group. Thank you so much for supporting Midgard Musings, watching this on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching. It's greatly appreciated. Do be sure to, wherever you're watching, support the stream in any way possible. So if you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, if you're not following the Facebook page, be sure to do so. Obviously, if you're watching this in the Highland Facebook group, then you're already here. But definitely be sure to let the world know that we do these sorts of things randomly. So if you have people that you think would be interested, let them know about Midgard Musings on YouTube and Facebook. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and Patreon. There's a Linktree link in all of my videos. If you go to my Facebook page, my channel, there's the Linktree link. It's a one-stop shop for all of that. Do be sure to check that out. Thank you to Marwin for being here. Very active, a very influential part of the Highland community with Patrick and his stuff. Thank you to Dragon Dancer. Thank you to John. Thank you to Leon. Thank you to Josh Thompson, who was here earlier. Anybody else who I didn't mention by name,
Papa.
if you're still here and
Papa
watching,
tried to
Papa
join us,
Olson.
but didn't have much luck.
Yes, yes, we didn't have any luck with getting Papa on here, but that might be happen maybe next time. But
Yeah.
irregardless, which is not even a word,
Right.
irregardless. But regardless,
I want to say really quick here.
yes. go
Thank
ahead.
you for enduring that turbulence there. I didn't realize they left and went and done something. But hey, you know what? That's just the randomness of our ramblings.
Yeah, man, I'm all about that turbulence, man. Like, let's ride through the storm. We are.
That was pretty cool.
My
though.
tribe is
How
the people
often
of the
do you get to
thundering
see
storm.
My dad appear in a fucking live. Like, I'm just saying, you know.
You know, man, if we can't ride through the storm, then what are we even here for? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's about life. So,
And
thank you all, friends, followers,
Yeah.
supporters, loved ones, kin and kith abroad. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being here for Patrick and I. And do be sure to follow and support in any way that you can. So we will see each other again next time. My next podcast episode will air on Thursday morning next week, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, with Dr. Scott Shell. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of academic heathen reconstruction, some of the benefits of that. Thank you so much for everyone's support. Until we talk to each other again, may the gods continue to notice you, and may your ancestors smile upon you. We'll see each other soon. Thank you so much.